Hello everyone and welcome to the aga-cad webinar, Modeling Rebar for Precast Wall Panels in Revit Automatic. Today I'll introduce you to a wall reinforcement tool developed by aga-cad. So some facts about me: my name is Lucas Ossanes. I'm a BIM application engineer at aga-cad. In aga-cad I'm responsible for projects like Precast Concrete, Smart Assemblies and Smart Connections. I'm educated as architectural technologist. I've finished my studies in Denmark, and I've worked on BIM projects most in Europe. As well, since I finished my studies in Denmark, I have some practical experience with construction project development, mostly in Scandinavian construction market. Some facts about aga-cad, company which has more than 30 years of BIM field experience. And what we do here, create different solutions for various BIM fields. For example, we subtract the unvaluable tasks, what can be like, for example, manual work, and we automate that workflow. First Revit add-ons were developed since 2008, and we've created, as I mentioned, lots of different products since then. Also, it's worth to mention that we're Autodesk AEC industry partners. We've recently joined the digital transformation leader Arcans, and we're based in Vilnius, Lithuania. Here are some of our customer references. So we are focusing mostly into the larger firms, and these references justifies our competences and that we're a company which is trusted by well-known names. So we have lots of various products developed. So we have products for MEP system design, some precast concrete, wood framing, metal framing, and as you know, today I'll introduce you to one of the precast concrete tools, wall reinforcement. In this webinar, we'll cover workflow for automating different wall reinforcement rebars and types. So I'll introduce you to a workflow what has to be done in order to have rebars created automatically for your project. As well, we've recently updated our product with new features. So that includes T-connection for walls, rebar by face, and the visual setting for rebars to make them solid or unobstructed. Alright, I'm going to jump into my Revit model right now. So what I want to show you first is to introduce you to a BIM doc, which is right here. So I just press show doc, and here I can see all tools which aga-cad provides to our customers, and press in my tool section I can see what tools I own and which tools I can use. So in this webinar, as you know, I will show about wall reinforcement, and I control this tool through this menu, or I can choose to control it from a ribbon. So for me, it's more convenient to control from a ribbon, and I can just drag it out here to my worksheet. Okay. First, what we need to do to create rebars automatically, we need to configure configurations for it. We can do it right here, just pressing configs, and we need to select wall configurations. So in this window, we have our settings, and here is a list of different configurations. These configs can be shared between other projects. It can be copied, renamed. It's a separate file which can be implemented into different Revit models. So for example, if you like to slightly adjust something, you just need to copy and just set your desired changes for it. Alright, so we'll begin with rebar groups. So in common settings, we just set the basic things like cover settings and some visibility settings. As you know, here is also rebar cover settings. For a grouping, we just select what we want to include into our rebar design. Alright, moving on, we have external and internal reinforcement options, and here these two are identical. We set the rebar bar type. From this list, we select various rebars, and we afterwards would select if we would like to have hooks, spacing step, and distances from offset, start, and center. It's up to you. For your horizontal options, it's pretty the same. And for your covers, you just define the covers, like where, what will be the distance from wall face up to your set rebars. Alright, so settings for openings, doors, and windows, they can be shared between these three. For example, if I set the settings for openings, I can just use the same settings for doors or windows, just pressing like copy from opening. And we need to do here, for example, in order to create settings for openings, we just choose how many rebars we would like to have, like 1 or 2. Afterwards, we determine what tool will define as the opening. So these two numbers will what is defined as the opening. And rebar type, just select from a list what rebar type you would like to have. Face position defines if you would like to have on top or on bottom or left or right. These two images helps you to orientate setting these settings for your rebars. So moving on, we can define the length of the rebar, anchorage length, position, and options for edge covers. Overall for covers, not only edge covers. Bend bar at edges means that if rebar will be too long, it won't extend out to the wall profile, meaning it will be automatically bent. So this is for edge, and now for a diagonal rebar, we have similar options, but we have some just we can decide if we like to have on top or on bottom or on both of the sides. We select the bar length, positioning, cover options, and if we would like to have bended bars at the edges, like for example, it's shown right here. For U&O stirrups, we choose if we would like to have U or O stirrups, and face positioning, again, top or bottom, or left or right. We decide if it's supposed to be U shape or O shape, rebar type, and the lengths of the rebars, as well as cover options from wall face to rebar. This table indicates settings for a horizontal layout, so we define the spacing between the rebars and offsets from where our rebars will start or end. As well, we can create O stirrups and decide if we would like to have hooks. So that belongs to all of these three, as I mentioned before. For perimeter reinforcement, now this image shows again how our rebars will be designed. So we can have 1 or 2, and these dots indicates our reinforcement. After we decide if we want to have 1 or 2, we choose bar type and our options for anchorage length, positioning, cover options, and if we would like to have bends. And similar options for diagonal rebars, but we have actually it's the same options for diagonal rebars, but we have a bit different things for U&O stirrups. So in order to have to create stirrups for a perimeter, we need to toggle this box on. We need to choose if we would like to have vertical or horizontal stirrups. Afterwards, we choose the rebar bar type. If we would like to have hooks, we select options for cover settings, the length of our U stirrup, which is indicated right here, a segment length, and after we decide the spacing and offset distance, so from where our rebars will begin. These are for a vertical reinforcement, and these are for a horizontal. If we want to have O stirrups, we just toggle this box, for example, for vertical this, for horizontal this, and decision to have hooks or not. L connection, so where we need to refer is to these images and names on top of them. So we have bar 1, bar 2, up to bar 6. And I have here bar 6, so that means I need to refer to this image. And here I can see CE, L, A, So these letters indicates my options right here. For example, if I want that rebar face would be like 25 up to this rebar, so I just enter 25, and forth and so on, like 500 for free L. Alright, so we have some more options for L corner connections, outer corner, and again it's the same principle, we just need to refer to the images and the names on the top. So that would be for L connection. T connection defines rebars at T-connected wall. For example, same like L connection, we just select the certain bar shape, and according to these settings we just set the lengths and the cover distances. For additional reinforcement, we can create a V bar shape, like straight bar, L shape, U shape, or O shape, and according to our selected shape, we just set the configuration first. For example, if you want to have L shape, I look at this picture and I decide the bar length, extend distance, anchorage length, edge cover, and forfeit, and so on with these options. So that would be it for additional reinforcement. Alright, and now for a fabric sheet. So all I need to do, I need to select my created fabric sheet, and afterwards I just select cover distances and layout direction, horizontal direction, options to just to allocate where rebars will be designed in our wall construction. Okay, I've finished my configurations. I need to link my configurations into my wall. So that means I need to find out what kind of wall this is, and I can see this concrete wall, 300 millimeters. I press link wall, and in this list I need to find that wall. So for example, it's right here, and now I have a list of configurations. I just, in my case, I select these configs, I press OK, and now once we've done that, I select my wall and I press create rebar. I've created some configurations where I wanted to have a perimeter reinforcement, some reinforcement around the windows, with used stirrups, diagonal reinforcement on top and on bottom, also some plain wall reinforcement on both sides, and you can see it right here. So within a few clicks I've created all this rebar set. Alright, next one I have a same wall, but we have a T connection. So we have this wall intersected into this wall, and now I would like to see how to create my sign rebars. So here we have a bit less of reinforcement. We have perimeter reinforcement for this wall, but we have a T connection where I defined choosing this bar 4 option, and you can see that we have distance from wall face to rebar, and we have also all these configs for our wall with opening reinforcement. Also, we have this edited wall profile. I've just edited this wall, and the tool recognized that wall contains openings. So we have perimeter reinforcement going around, and we have some diagonal rebars, and so on. Alright, so also tool is capable to create rebars for a sandwich wall, but with sandwich wall there is a small difference between one layer wall, because we need to decide where our rebars, in which layer our rebars will be generated. So I've chose obviously concrete layers, and I've decided that this layer will have these configs, this layer will have these configurations, and afterwards I had this wall created. But you need also consider that the sandwich wall contains a insulation layer between, so you need to have a bit, you need to work a bit more on your configurations, designing wall reinforcement for center wall. Okay, so moving on, I have here a wall with multiple connections. So I have T connection here, T connection here, L connection here, and let's see how to handle these connections. Alright, and here we can see I have this L connection. We can see how I defined what options I've chose to, and I've chose bar 6 with these settings to be included for this connection. So we have L shape here, L shape corner. We have T connection here with our rebars, and also here as well. I configured rebar configurations for a door opening, and you can see we have used stirrups going around the door profile. I've created some diagonal rebars and that. Alright, so for example, I have this wall, and I want to show you how to adapt to changes if I would like to change the wall profile. So for example, I've decided to have here a opening, and I'll just move these here, this one here. Right, okay. And here I have these rebars, which I don't need to have. So now I just press update by wall link, and the tool will detect that the wall has been changed. So it will automatically delete the reinforcement, and it will add new reinforcement. It will adapt to a new shape, add new reinforcement around this opening. Okay, so we have here also this wall. I want to demonstrate to you how to create rebars when there is a, for example, this thin layer separating these openings. So let's press create rebar. Alright, and I've chosen to have here bended bars. So in this case, you can see these bars are a bit too long, and I wanted that they wouldn't leave the wall profile, that they would just bend. So this situation demonstrates that. Also, we have here this wall, which illustrates that we can create some additional, for example, in this case, column reinforcement in our wall. Actually, it's quite flexible. You can create some 2-3 more of these, or some kind of different shape according to your settings. Alright, so these are additional reinforcements on wall. And okay, so we have here these O-shape bars with these settings. You can have different shapes, as I mentioned before. You can have L-shaped bars facing on side, on top, opposite direction. You can have O-shaped bars on top. You can have U-shaped bars on side. Also, you can see this wall shape is quite edited, and to adapt to these changes and just creates rebars according to the wall shape. And these two walls, I want to demonstrate to you how. Right, I'm just going to create. Here we created for these two walls fabric sheets with rebars around the door openings, and these fabric sheets contains these settings. Alright, so that's about it for wall reinforcement. Now I'd like to show you our new features, and let's jump into this model. Here I have beams and columns, so I would like to focus on these functions. So create rebar by face. Also, I forgot to mention you that here you need to as well to set the face rebar configurations in this case. So what we need to do here, we need to decide if we like to have O shape or U shape, rebar type, if we want to have hooks, and length also covered. Alright, so for a layout, we have 3 rules, and these images defines those rules. So 3-step rule in my case is this rule, and according to this image, I create the layout of my rebars. So once you've done that, you can choose one of these 3 functions. So I'll demonstrate you all of them. Create rebar by face means that I just need to select the certain face, and along that face, rebars will be generated. So let's see how it works. And here we have rebars, only within 2 clicks for this beam. Alright, and we have a second function here. It creates rebars between faces. Just need to select the first face, then I need to select 2 faces, like from where my rebars will begin and where they gonna end. So let's say from this face up to this face. You can see we have rebars between faces. And for the last function, I need to select creating rebars by distance. So I just select a face. So I need rebars for this face, and rebars will begin from this face. For example, now I need to enter the distance, and I like to have like 1.6 meters, and rebars will be generated for 1.6 meters. Alright, the last function which I want to demonstrate you for today is a visibility setting for rebars. Here in my view I have these rebars, and I want them to be unobscured, for example. That I can do within this click, just press to see all rebars unobscured, and that's the result which you get. Now let's see them solid, and just press again. If I want to select some certain rebar group, I just need to select it and press solid for selected rebar, so it will make the rebars unobscured which you select. If I want that my host would contain unobscured rebars or solid rebars, I just I just need to select my host, in this case it's a beam, and just select if I would like to have unobscured or solid, as you can see here. Alright, so that's about it for a Revit. Now let's jump into presentation. And so takeaways from this tool. So you'll discover new ways of modeling automatic model reinforcement, at connections, openings, perimeters. You have some flexibility modeling rebars, so that means you will decrease your workflow length, and you will increase your accuracy due to optimization. You just need to enter certain numbers into the option menu, and the tool will automatically design your rebars for it. And regarding configurations, that eases your workflow, as I said before, like you can just share it between your colleagues, and just if you want to create similar configuration, similar rebar design for your similar wall, for example, all what you need to do is just to copy and to make slight changes for it. The last thing, how can you start working more efficiently? Just visit our aga-cad model reinforcement add-on page, which you can see in the screen. You can try our tool for free for 2 weeks, or you can contact us to get the offer at info@aga-cad.com.
aga-cad, building BIM together.